Patrick Mabilog, and local government officials of Iloilo, fellow workers of government, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. These past 5 years, we have broken with tradition in commemorating the proclamation of Philippine independence in significant sites throughout the country. This year, we break with tradition again in hosting our Independence Day reception not in Malacanang Palace, but here in Iloilo City. In doing so, we pay tribute to the solidarity of the past and demonstrate our unity of purpose for the present and the future. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, today we commemorate the triumph of the Filipino people whose solidarity, courage, and integrity have always allowed them to overcome any obstacle. Our country has faced no shortage of trials. For instance, the Philippines is an archipelago composed of roughly 7,100 islands. Our forebears had to contend with the challenge of transportation and communication between and amongst the many islands of our country. Separated though they may have been during the revolution, they were unified by the experience of suffering which they knew to be unjust. They knew intrinsically what was right and what was wrong, even during a time in which our colonizers sought to indoctrinate in them, even with the use of religion, that the belief that Filipinos were of less worth. Back then, our forebears would ask the clergy, why are we suffering so much? They would then receive the answer, blessed are the persecuted, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, as if to say that their suffering in this life would guarantee their entry into heaven. Our people knew this was wrong. They knew it was not their lot in life to live with such injustice. This knowledge galvanized their desire to take hold of their destinies. Today, the details and the faces of challenges may be different. Natural and man-made calamities, corruption, and poverty. Still, the Filipino people stand firm. They have demonstrated time and again that they have inherited the skill, the talent, and the wisdom of their ancestors. They have proven themselves ready to stand for what is right, be it in waging a revolution against colonizers, in peacefully regaining democracy after a dictatorship, or in helping me undertake the positive transformation of society to which we are all witness. There are the vast budget increases for social welfare, health, and education since we took office in 2010, all of which redound to greater investments into the Filipino people. There are our economic achievements, the record high $6 billion of net foreign direct investment the Philippines received last year, or the fact that in 2013, all major credit ratings agencies have named us and kept us at investment grade status, just to name a couple of examples. You saw it in the resilience of the Filipino people, even with a disaster as massive as Typhoon Haiyan. You can see it in the sustained confidence and optimism that all of us have for the future of the Philippines. My country has indeed achieved so much. Yet we did not do all this on our own. We reached our goals sooner because of the international community, who recognized our earnest efforts and saw an honest government and a people truly worth helping. This in turn breeds in us a debt of gratitude, what we call utang na loob, shown in our determination to do our share to address the world's problems. Fostering even greater cooperation amongst all nations need not even be on the basis of our universal rights or of altruism. Any practical mind would recognize that we must be concerned with our brother by necessity, especially in this shrinking world, where problems are less and less localized and more common. Take, for instance, the phenomenon of pandemics, in which the insufficient response to or handling of health issues within one's borders can translate to a global threat. There is also the issue of displacement, in which violence or chaos in one part of the world induces the migration of families who are forced to seek refuge on other shores and with other governments. Whether in these examples or that of terrorism, climate change, and many others, each and every nation must do its part. The Philippines itself has been a recipient of such efforts. Typhoon Haiyan is a standout example, with many countries continuing to render assistance to us up to this very day, for which we are deeply grateful. In turn, we Filipinos have participated in similar endeavors, including peacekeeping efforts in the Golan Heights, in Haiti, Liberia, and the Ivory Coast, amongst others. It has even come to the point where we are told that we often punch above our own weight. That may be true, especially when you consider that we are a country with fewer resources as compared to others. Yet, we persist in these efforts because we see that helping our brothers is definitely in our own interest. Instability, conflict, and chaos in other parts of the world will eventually make their effects felt on our shores. Doing nothing about the problem will force us one day to confront it when it is far more complex and unmanageable and can no longer be ignored. That is why we choose to work with partners like your good selves to address the situation at its point of origin and therefore prevent successive problems. On this day, 117 years ago, the Filipino people rose up as one community to break free from injustice. That time of colonization is long gone, yet the obstacles we face remain and in fact have taken on an evolved form. Excellencies, as we are determined to join your nations in the struggle to overcome the obstacles you face, so too do we ask you to join us. In this way, we can truly forge a global community in which each nation-state realizes that their growth and stability hinge on their ability to work with others. This is the clearest path towards a world where there is mutual respect, where we are all bound by international law and by a single definition of our entitlements and obligations, where we are all brothers, all of equal footing, working side by side. In your presence, we pledge the Philippines is committed to the task of building that true community of nations. I say this today as the proud leader of a people who have once again taken their future into their own hands. They are responsible for the positive change sweeping our nation, a change that began in 2010 when my countrymen entrusted me with a mandate to fight corruption and end poverty. They did so even if I had neither wanted nor volunteered to inherit the problems my predecessor would bequeath. They told me, "We believe you can lead us to something better. We know you will not solve everything, but please let us start solving the problem." Their request, daunting though it was, eventually became impossible to turn down, even if we knew the path ahead, the straight path, was full of challenges. For example, there is a standing joke that says that Filipino politicians begin campaigning right the day after they are elected into office. Our opponents had been preparing for years, perhaps all their lives, while we had a few months before the elections. The odds were stacked against us from the very beginning, but this could not deter us. My mother and father lived in service to our country, and my father put it best when he said, as my mother would often repeat, and I quote, "I would never be able to forgive myself if I will have to live with the knowledge that I could have done something and did not do anything," close quote. We surpassed the challenges of 2010 and all the others set before us. As a united people determined to change the future of the Philippines, we believed in each other and we continue to work with each other. When I look back, I am glad to have taken on that massive responsibility. I am glad to have been given the honor and the privilege to serve such a courageous people. Most of all, I am glad that there were many who supported me and continued to do so, not out of selfish motivations, but out of a desire to uplift our country. They said, "Just begin the change." They told me, and I say today, with the support of our international partners, we Filipinos have brought about true transformation. On that note, Your Excellencies, fellow workers of government, ladies and gentlemen, may I ask you to join me in a toast. To the continued success of the Filipino people, may we further harness our unity as we tread the straight path towards ensuring the permanence of positive change. To all partners and friends in public service, may we never lose our drive to uplift the lives of our fellow men, whether within our own borders or in nations tens of thousands of miles away, and to a true community of nations bound together not only by the earth on which we live, but also and more importantly by our determination to help each other towards fostering global stability and prosperity. To all of you, I say, mabuhay.
At yan po ang talumpati ni Pangulong Noynoy Aquino sa taunang honneur ngayong ika-117 anibersaryo ng ating Araw ng Kasarinlan. Sabi nga po ng Pangulo sa kanyang talumpati, ito po ang unang pagkakataon na idinaos ang honneur sa labas ng palasyo ng Malacanang. Pag-alala sa kabayanihan ng ating mga ninuno, ng ating mga bayani. Noon pa man ay marami na raw silang kinaharap na hamon at ngayong tuloy pa rin ang hamon kahit na wala na po yung mga mananakop ng mga dayuhan at pagsubok sa ibang forma gaya ng mga kalamidad at kahirapan, pero nananatiling matatag at nagkakaisa ang mga Pilipino sa gitna ng mga pagsubok na ito. Malaking tulong po ang binibigay ng ibang bansa gaya halimbawa nung manalasa ang superbagyong Yolanda, at tayo man ay nagagawang tumulong din sa ibang mga bansa na naharap din sa pagsubok. At nangako po ang Pangulo na mananatiling tapat ang ating bansa sa tinatawag na True Community of Nations dahil sa pamamagitan ng pagkakaisa, malalagpasan ang mga pagsubok. Nagpasalamat din po ang Pangulo sa pagkakataong mapagsilbihan ang isang bayan ng mga matatapang at magigiting na mga tao. At yan po ang may init na balita sa oras na ito. Tutok lamang po dito sa GMA News TV para oras-oras, alam mo. Ako po si Mariz Umali. Magandang umaga po.